All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday watch list. This week, I think the setups we have look amazing, to be honest. I think this week the setups look really good as we finally got all that data out of the way. The earnings with Apple, Amazon, the FOMC meeting, all of that is out of the way now. Starting off with economic data this week, it doesn't look like we have much. And I know I don't really do these Sunday watches with my face in the corner, but if you guys want to see the face behind the person giving you guys these fire plays, here it is, right? So starting off with, and let me know if you guys want me to do more of these type of videos or drop more comments. I want to be more interactive with you guys, right? If you guys don't follow me on Instagram already, it's underscore Lex Trades, and I always refresh these watch lists every morning for free in my broadcast channel on Instagram. So back to the watch list. As far as economic data this week, nothing too crazy, right? Monday looks like it should be a good day to that we don't really have much data. Fed speakers later on in the day. Tuesday, consumer credit, nothing really while the market's open. Wholesale inventory is Wednesday. Initial jobless claims Thursday. It'll happen before pre-market. So, and then consumer sentiment Friday. Remember those 10 a.m., 7 a.m. news you always want to be aware of. Getting into the actual watch list now, though, like I said, I think the setups this week look amazing. I am really liking more upside for the week. And let me show you guys why. So on the 4 hour chart, here we have SPY. And notice how we have one, two, three touches on this downtrend, kind of broke out of it right here. We could even do something like this where it connects to this area. So one, two, three, and then the fourth touch around that area. We finally broke out of it this week. And two levels I'm paying attention to this week is going to be this 512.5 area, which was Friday's high, because above that level looks like we have nothing but room up to 515. It looks amazing. Like on the 4 hour chart, this looks really strong. If we get a pullback, I want to take a bounce around the 510 area, which was the previous area of supply. You can see that on Friday we had non-farm payrolls and the market gapped up. So, since the market had gapped up so much already Friday, it didn't make the next move higher. It did get a pullback to like the 508 area, and that 508 area was the FOMC high. So if you look at the FOMC high, that previous resistance turned to support on Friday. So as long as we're above that 508 to 510 area, I'm going to be leaning to more upside. If by any chance we get below 508, things start switching up. Below 508, this has room to 506. You see there's a little gap fill down there, but I don't see it really happening early in the week. So I'll be leaning towards that 515 area on SPY if we happen to get above this 512 or a bounce around that 510. I'm really liking that setup. And also a lot of other names are looking strong. So just confluence, right? So here we have QQQ. Very similar, right? We broke out of this downtrend. We had a downtrend here. It was a much steeper one. And then we start creating a higher low, a higher low. We broke this recent high and we currently retested it on Friday. So this 433 area is going to be my bounce area. You can see why, because we bounce here once, twice, three, four. And then when we're below it, we use it as rejection, rejection. So now that we're above it again, I want to see it hold, which we did on Friday. That was the bounce area on Friday. If you could see, we held that whole zone. Just in case we do get back down there, I'd like to buy the dip off that area. And this one has room up to 438, 439. You can see that's the next area that really just is our next resistance area. 438 here. You can see big rejection there, rejection here, and then bounces around that area. So above 436, a hold above 436 gets us room up here. And then a bounce around 433. What I wouldn't want to see is us gap up pre-market. I'm doing this on a Saturday, so Sunday futures could open up green or above these levels. What I want to see is them stay around these areas so we could catch the move for Monday. But if we do happen to get up there, then I would be looking above like that 438 area. A complete break and hold that pushes us to 442. If we continue to show strength for the rest of the week, those are the levels we're bound to get to, like that 442 area. We're starting to push back to highs as these lows recovered. Going into individual setups, I really like Apple. You see Apple had really strong earnings. And the nearest area of demand for Apple is 180. And you could see that we catch a bounce here, a bounce here. And look at, not only do we catch a bounce at these areas, but look at the amount of buyers that step in at this area. From 180, we get to push all the way to 187. 180, 187, and really back to highs like around 196 here as well. Like 180, bounce to 190. So going into this week, if we happen to pull back to that 180, I'd like to see buyers hold and step in there to get a push back into 187 to 190. I think that's going to be a great play. If Apple just shows strength and takes off above this 186.6 area, I'll be interested for calls around that 190 area as well. I'm going to skip Amazon and Microsoft. They look good as well, but um, I like NVIDIA and AMD, the semiconductors, a little bit more. You could see that we have broken out of this downtrend on NVIDIA. And we kind of retested that trend line on Friday a little bit. I was actually looking at this. But the nearest area of resistance on NVIDIA is this, let's see, this 888 area. I want to see that 888 area hold above, and that gives us room up to this next supply up here around 908. So if we can hold 888 on NVIDIA, I feel like NVIDIA could potentially come back to 870 as well to retest that trend line that we're breaking out of this downtrend. If that 870 holds and we start pushing back towards 888, I'll be interested in 900 calls, 910. They might be a little bit expensive since the start of the week, but above that, it starts pushing towards 920 and back into the 937s. So those are my price targets for NVIDIA. NVIDIA looks good, but I like AMD a little bit more. Let me show you guys exactly why. So on the daily chart, let's see if we can draw any trend lines right here first. Looks like we could do something here. Okay, we'll keep that in mind around that 160. 160 is a supply. 159, 160 supply. But it looks like we can work our way up there as we have a gap fill above 151. Above 151 gives us room to 159, around that 157. So it's about a $7 move on this gap fill up. If AMD gets above 151, I'd like that move up to at least like 157. So I'll keep an eye on that setup for sure. This one looks really good since it has room. Just be a little cautious around the 160 area as there is some supply. Above 165, then AMD can really take off, but just a quick scalp, a nice move from there to there. Meta as well. Meta, let's get the exact level here. It has a gap fill above 452 or 453, sorry. 453 gives us room to 470 to 473. Anything above that, it's like 485. But this looks like a good setup as well. I would want to see it hold 453 for the move up to that area. Probably buy time on it too, since it's a little bit of a bigger move. But because all these other names are looking strong, it could bring the overall market like SPY and QQQ up as well. Google looks very strong on the daily chart, right? That's a very, very strong candle. Above 168, it pushes us to those earnings highs. Not my favorite. It looks good. It looks good. You'd have to buy time on this one though. Google's a little bit more of a slow mover. Another setup that I really like is Netflix. It has that daily gap fill, right? I've been keeping this one on watch either for the gap fill to the downside or the upside, as it had a gap fill in both directions, but above 580, 580.5 gives room to 590 and 600. Netflix is starting to pick up, so definitely a name worth watching. Overall market is green. SMCI, I won't really keep it on watch too much. We do have a gap fill above, I'd say 800. Breaking hold of 800 gets you to 850. Looks like a good move. Daily hammer on the previous 2 days. So looks like a good setup as well. But because all of these names are looking bullish, I would like to catch them on SPY and QQ because there's so many names to watch. You're most likely not going to catch all of them, right? But because SPY and Q's moves with a lot of these names, to avoid, looking at too many things, you can just catch SPY or QQ. So you don't get too much FOMO on missing out on one of these other names, right? SPY and QQ will keep it, it'll still feel like you caught some of that upwards move, right? Like I said, though, you don't want to be too biased on one direction ever. If it gets below 508, that's where I would be interested in shorts. But for now, I am a little bit more biased to the upside, but we'll see how the week goes. Other than that, that was a Sunday watch list. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm trying to just be more interactive with you guys. Make sure to follow my Instagram and join the broadcast channel for free. Sometimes I signal free plays in there. And for the most part, I update these watch lists early morning. So with that being said, I hope you guys all have a great trading week. And yeah, peace out, guys.